Hey guys, Jeff here, Hubie's Garage, and just another race update. It's Wednesday, so I'll give you the Wednesday update. Today, as you can see, wet everywhere. Today was the day. Went ahead and flushed everything out. Surprisingly, came out real nice. Clear water, basically coming out of every direction. So flushed the whole entire cooling system out today with my hot water hose bib. So I had really hot water that I was running through the system. Flushed it from the top down, and I also have garden hose fittings that go into the lower 1/4-inch plug. It's basically galvanized pipe that sticks out of where those 1/4-inch brass plugs go on each side of the block, just by the pan rail. So those, I guess they're like 1/2-inch galvanized nipples that have heater hose attached to them, and then on the other end it's got a hose bib fitting that goes onto my electric water pump that's down here that you can't really see, but it's mounted on the side of the block. So so I went ahead and flushed it from the top down, and then plugged in the garden hose, ran them full pressure hot water. I probably ran about 25 to 35 gallons through the engine at first, and then came back afterwards and flushed it again with the hot water high pressure hose bib. Didn't run any chemicals through it. You know, I don't know that it would do that much better. I was getting clear water. This is a low pressure system. It's not a pressurized radiator system. So anyway, I got that completely flushed out. Also checked the brake system. I know it's a little bit wet on the top there, but there's no leakage of the master cylinder or the wheel cylinders. So the brakes are all good. The fluid level has been maintaining, so there's no issues there. Went ahead and bought all of the hose, the radiator hoses, and new garden hoses, as well as I'll just go ahead and show you here. Bought 7 feet of 1/2-inch heater hose that will go to those nipples on the lower portion of the block, and then they connect with these really nice, went and bought some real nice thick heavy brass Ace Hardware female hose bib fittings. There's my Y that goes on the water pump. That's all cleaned up, ready to go. I got new gaskets. I've got a portion of that hose is 3/4 inch, so I've got 3 feet of 3/4 inch, which goes from the pump back to the lower portion of the radiator, and that's actually the intake for the DC pump. This is where I'm going to cut a section of that off. It's 1 3/4. That's going to go from my lower radiator hose to a 1/2-inch adapter, male adapter. That's where I'm sorry, 3/4 inch adapter that's going to go to this 3/4 inch radiator hose, or heater hose. I also have some other hose sections that I bought. Well, this one right here, in which I just need 2 6-inch straight pieces. I'll end up getting that off of there. Couldn't find a top radiator hose, but I do have a number of those universal flex fittings, or those flex hoses. I'm not a real big fan of those, because that was part of the problem that I had with the cooling system this go around, because there's a galvanized coil spring that's inside there to keep the shape, or to keep it from collapsing, and that was part of the problem, because that rusted out, and a lot of that got into my cooling system. So also bought some VR1. I like it because of the high zinc for the flat tappet cam that I got in here. All the places, O'Reilly, I've been to O'Reilly's, and then I have an AutoZone here in town, and AutoZone's a little cheaper, but they don't really have the selection that O'Reilly's does. As far as tonight, still working, going to be working until 10 o'clock. It's still a few hours early, but just doing the report. Gonna, like I say, replace the coolant hoses. I'm gonna replace the coolant hose, the radiator hoses, upper and lower, the ones on the Hillborn. The coolant hoses are part of the pump system to circulate the water. And if I get real adventurous, I'll change the oil. I've got a Wix filter, and I've got basically I've got an old vintage Moroso 7-quart oil pan. This morning had a little bit of an issue. Just trying to blast the light here. So in the car, I had a little on-off switch. It was just a button that was hanging down from the dash, and it turns on the water pump. And I was going to use the water pump to flush the engine block this morning, and literally had everything all set up, ready to go, put on the pump, push the button, and the switch just completely disintegrated in my hand. So I had to go to my electronic shop, one of the 2 or 3 store runs or auto parts store / hardware store, electrical store runs that I did today, and I bought a little 2-way switch and wired that in. Works great, and that thing is not going to be a problem. Another thing that I did today, actually I did some of this last night, sat in the car last night and played around with the adjustments and got everything completely adjusted to where it's comfortable and to my liking. So the lap belt, the shoulder belts, everything's perfectly adjusted for me. And you'll notice the diaper strap is in, or the submarine harness. So Fred Crow from Crow Safety, that's them right there, Vegas. He next day aired me a submarine strap, and this one was a 60-inch. The one I had before was a 43. So he sent me the 60. I'm going to pop the 43 back in the box and ship it back to him. And he took care of that overnight and got me all set up. So I'm now officially legal. I got my belts are certified until 2025. And then let's see, I'm going to hold the light. And I went ahead and got the fire extinguisher in last night. But biggest thing is getting the coolant system handled, taken care of, all done, and you know, that's all ready to go. I'm gonna cut up these pieces, put the upper and lower radiator hose back together, put the water pump hoses back on, and radiator is literally 6 bolts. So I'm hoping to have that in tonight. So if that goes well, then like I say, I'll do an oil change, and then the only thing left to do will be just to go in and maybe grease my linkage, my throttle linkage, go through and check out the mag, do the maintenance that they say to do on the magneto, the shifter maintenance, gap and put in my new plugs, and then I'll try to go get some racing fuel and take the regular 87 octane out of the tank and load it up with racing fuel. But tomorrow is pretty much the last day. I've got a couple of hours early Friday morning, but we're going to do load in that morning, where we're all taking the cars and taking them there early, and that way we won't have to worry about unloading and setting up Saturday morning at 5 in the morning. You know, we'll already be there from the night before. So anyway, that's pretty much it. More progress, getting closer. Just glad I got that coolant system done and out of the way, and there's no big issues with it so far. So you know, getting it there and running it down the track will be another story, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, another race report for Wednesday night, and thanks for watching. I'll do another report tomorrow night, and then from that point on, we'll probably do a report from the track. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.